Welcome to bLU Talks.
I'm so grateful to be here in Oxford speaking with you today and all the magnificent speakers that we've seen through the last couple of days. I'm truly honored to be here with you. So, the journey. Have you ever been debating yourself and get so exhausted at the constant struggle? Should I do this? Should I do this? Or do you get tired at sabotaging yourself and not succeeding? Or what about, do you get frustrated that you're still holding on to that habit that you've had for decades? So, over the last couple of days, I've really realized how much people don't understand what hypnosis is. So, we're going to start with a game. So, has anybody heard the game One Lie and Three Truths? So, I'm going to do this with you today. So, for each thing that I say, number 1, 2, 3, or 4, after I'm done, you're going to tell me which one is the lie by holding up your fingers. Okay? So, I quit smoking at 20 with hypnosis. I used a hypnosis program for prenatal and failed the second time. The third time with hypnosis, I achieved a natural birth after 2 cesareans, which is kind of unheard of. And I was kicked off a stage hypnosis show because I couldn't be hypnotized. Which one do you think is the lie? We have 3 people that got the first one. At 20 years old, I went to a hypnotist. Gosh, did I want that magic wand. I'd been smoking since I was 13. And I went in, and I mean, there was, so much snot. Snot and bubbles and Kleenexes, and gosh, it just went on for like an hour. And then she told me to close my eyes and relax. Yeah, right. I promptly left that session, lit a smoke, and said, that was the stupidest thing I've ever spent money on. Fast forward a few years, and I'd already had 1 cesarean, and I thought, I'm going to use some hypnosis for my second childbirth. It didn't take long before I decided that was silly too. It didn't give me what I needed. It was just some flowery audios, but never solved any issues. Then baby number 3 comes along. I've had 2 cesareans, I'm pregnant, and I am desperate. I am desperate for a change. And I take a hypnosis program that not only had prenatal education as well as hypnosis for childbirth, and I finally succeeded having a natural birth after 2 cesareans, which if anybody's in the medical field, they know that's kind of unheard of. Oh, and did I mention I diligently forgot to smoke anymore? That's my most favorite phrase, diligent neglect. What if you could change your habits through diligent neglect? Which is just a fancy way of saying remembering to forget. So after I had succeeded and I had quit smoking and I had achieved this natural childbirth, I'm like, there was a stage show at a Christmas event for the hospital. I'm like, I'm going to go on stage. I know how to do hypnosis. I was the first one to go under hypnosis, and as soon as I heard somebody laugh, I was the first one sent off stage. So what's funny to me is that I was relentlessly attracted to this. I kept coming back to it over and over and over again. And I didn't always succeed. Which brings me to something that you probably don't know is that hypnotic depth is directly dependent on need, which means a person will only succeed to how much they need to create that change. So imagine a person who comes in and they're just desperately trying to get out of the life that they're in. Say maybe they're a couple pack a day smoker, or maybe they're 100 pounds overweight, or maybe they are just riddled with stress. Their desire for wanting to make that hypnosis work has now raised to the next level. So there's no such thing as trance depth. It's only dependent on the need. Okay? So, have you guys ever been to a grocery store and seen a little kid throwing a temper tantrum? I might have had some of them in my house. I might have needed to take your course. But humor me for a moment, and everybody stand up. And realize everyone is having a temper tantrum, but just for today's sake, we're all going to have the same temper tantrum, and I'm going to be silly first. Put your arms up like this, and I'm going to go, I want my chocolate! Ready? I want my chocolate! Okay, so this is the temper tantrum. Every single day when we're causing harm to ourselves in some way, shape, or form, whether it's negative thoughts or whether it's a person over-consuming something that they shouldn't consume, that's a temper tantrum, okay? Now, we have 4 coping stances, according to Virginia Satir, for how to deal with this temper tantrums. The first one, everybody put your hand on your hip, point over at the wall, not at me, and say, it's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
That's called the blamer, okay? The second one's called the placator. So put your hands up like this, like you're talking to another human, and say, I'll do anything for you.
I'll do anything for you.
I'm just here for you.
I'm just here for you.
And in that one, we also have the martyr. So put your hand here and say, I couldn't possibly take care of myself.
I couldn't possibly take care of myself.
Because I have all these other people and things to take care of.
All these other people and things to take care of.
Then we have the computer. So cross your arms like this. Get very snooty. Put your hand up like this. Look down your nose. And say, but if one were to analyze the situation, one would find. And these people would love studies or stats or like Dr. Google that would give them a statistical or analytical reason to let them off the hook, right? And then the last coping stance that she states is called the distractor. So put your foot out like this. Stick your thumb out. Stick your tongue out. And say, squirrel. And go chasing after something sparkly. Okay? Have a seat. So we will either blame, placate, compute, or distract our way from success, which means I literally just took away every single excuse you could have for not succeeding. And in truth, when clients come, they're just bouncing from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And my job is to help them level or surrender into what's really going on so that they can create the life that they want. Now, what does creating the life that you want actually mean? Okay? Now, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, fancy words for sight, sound, and touch. This is the structure of genius, okay? We cannot just think our way out of the paper bag. We can't just think magical thoughts. And to like have a real visual for this, think of yourself actually with a paper bag on your head. Now, get that paper bag off by just using the power of your mind. And if you can manifest that bag off your head, I need to take that course. But you can't. You actually have to either do, like tip it off, blow it off, or ask somebody for help. But you have to do something, okay? And we can't just say positive affirmations because there's no action in it. And we can't just feel potential and joy in the moment. We have to make it all like a movie of your mind. That is the structure of genius. Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. You have to see it, hear it, and feel it. Now, if you were an actual Olympic athlete who uses this technology, you understand we'd also add taste and smell. So if you fast forward this to, say, a marathon runner, they would see the finish line, the people all around them. They'd hear the roar of the crowd, the beating of their heart. They would feel the adrenaline coursing through their veins. They would taste the salt on their lips, and they would smell the smell of the wet sweat dripping from their body, which just made it so real to your nervous system that you don't know the difference between real and imagined. That is the magic of hypnosis. Your brain does not know the difference between real or imagined. So, to kind of demystify hypnosis a little bit, humor me. If you feel comfortable to explain what hypnosis feels like, go ahead and close your eyes. Now go ahead and open your eyes. And that's a lot like what hypnosis feels like. Shh. You should not expect a blackout. You will be able to hear and understand. And in fact, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. You've already done it. By a show of hands, who is driven somewhere, got there, and not remembered the last 5 minutes of the drive? Yeah, that's highway hypnosis. I don't recommend it, but it does happen, right? You didn't black out. You were just hyper-focused to one thing and everything else kind of fell away. So after they had already coined the term hypnosis means sleep, which is really weird because you're not asleep. They really wish they would have changed it to monoideism, which means singular thought. So it's actually the brainwave state below meditation or prayer. It achieves singular brainwave, singular thought where nothing else distracts you and you lose track of time and space. Another example of hypnosis would be, by a show of hands, who has cried in a movie? The movie's not real, but your brain and nervous system don't know that. So in truth, I'm not actually hypnotizing you. I am dehypnotizing you from the track that you're on. So let's go back to the chocolate for a second. You do this, you're stimulated like this, and then you eat chocolate. We need to create a new route. That's already hypnotic. That's already a path that's ingrained. It's automatic. You don't even think about it. So through relaxation, repetition, and fixation, you'll never not know that until we break the pattern. But hypnosis is like a muscle. Can you go to the gym once and get beautiful muscles? No, you gotta keep on lifting. And through that relaxation, repetition, and fixation, you'll build that muscle. And it takes consistency, okay? So over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of negative hypnosis stories. So what you don't realize is that you're all hypnotists. Anybody who has shared the stage this weekend is a hypnotist. What you say, people believe because you're in a position of authority. Corey knows this. He's probably the most powerful hypnotist here. He didn't know it. He does now. But the thing is you can't change that. And anybody who's a parent is automatically a hypnotist. Who do children believe first? Their parents. Teachers. It's unfortunate, but true. Another example of this would be physicians and nurses. We don't really second guess when they tell us to do something, do we? Some of us do. But that has more to do with your profile of being self-expressive and unique, right? But that wasn't because you didn't think you should do it. It was because you were actually being oppositionally defiant, which is a form of hypnosis all on its own. I'm not going to do it because they want me to do the opposite, right? It's not because you're choosing a position. It's because you're actually being hypnotized in the other way. And people will use this against you, unfortunately. So my goal actually isn't ever to hypnotize people, it's to empower people. Because if they don't know how language, structure, and where the hypnosis is happening, they have no control. So I'm giving people control back. So let's see if I can pull this off. Where does this jingle come from? Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Anybody? And I'm a terrible singer, and you still figured it out, right? But you'll never not know that. Media is hypnotic. So hypnosis, somebody asked me yesterday at supper about this, and I said, everyone's a hypnotist. And they just kind of looked at me, and I don't think we continued the conversation. But it is, it's happening all the time. So if we can structure this so that you can actually get to create the life that you want in sight, sound, and touch, what if change could be fun? You understand that having fun while change could be the magic. It can happen in an instant. If people can have a trauma or a phobia, and it happens in an instant, we can infer that we could also create a solution in an instant. That is the goal of where my passion drives me to help you guys succeed. So, what could this look like for you guys? Or anybody that you know that you think might benefit from hypnosis and NLP? Is, of course, hypnosis sessions. Did you know they can be done online? Right. They can be done online or in person. Another thing that we do is either seminars or workshops that aren't actually close your eyes and relax, but they're something we call advanced life skills or perceptionary. The weirdest thing is that over half of the clients change just by doing the blaming, placating, computing, and distracting that we did with the satir model. And once they realize they're doing that, in that instant, they can step out of what they were doing and begin to become the architect of the life that they want. It's a decision. It's not a series of decisions. It's like this. Do you think about whether you're going to brush your teeth today? No, you just brush your teeth because it's something you do. So part of this can become like hygiene. It can just become quick and it can become easy. I'm not going to lie though. In the beginning, your brain kind of explodes. Like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to say things in a way that is useful? But eventually, through the repetition of stepping back and going, is what I'm saying to myself useful or unuseful? We just quickly let go of it and move on to what we want to have happen. And we make it that real movie in your mind, so your mind already believes that you have that. If you can see it, hear it, and feel it, you will chase it. If you cannot, you won't. If you cannot see it, hear it, and feel it, you will not chase it. And guess what? This is a lot like putting a destination in Google Maps. If you put in your destination to go to Oxford, it's going to auto-populate 3 routes to get there, right? You may hit road construction. You may get a flat tire. But do you really want to go back to where you were? No. Well, that would be silly. So there's no such thing as restarting, and we're not starting from scratch. You already learned how to ride the bike. We're not putting the training wheels back on. Or if you'd prefer diapers, we can go back to that stage too. But we're not. We're moving forward to create the life that you want. So again, the seminars would be like that, shifting perception through conversation. And conversational hypnosis is profound. One of the best storytellers was Milton Erickson. The book is called My Voice Will Go With You. It's the teaching tales of Milton Erickson, okay? It's magical that we can hand a book to somebody. They can read a story and they can change. It's why movies can be magical. So seminars, workshops, customized for your own purpose. People teach me what they need, and I can bring it to them and design a program that's right for their time. 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, and they create that and they use that going forward. The third thing that a person can do is actually do like a hypnosis course or an NLP course. Because once they learn when hypnosis is happening to them, or how to use it with integrity, they have more ways to get rapport with their potential clients. So when used properly, with integrity and congruence, people have the ability to rely on someone in hypnosis to get the life that they want, or learn the tools for the life that they want. So I hope it feels like hypnosis isn't quite as scary as it was before. It can actually be fun. The whole goal is to have fun while learning. Do you remember your favorite teacher? Can you picture your favorite teacher and remember having fun learning and being so excited? Oh my God, I get to go to school or get to go to that course, right? Maybe it was in college. Maybe you didn't have the love of learning until then. But if you picture and imagine and feel and hear that teacher encouraging you, you could become curious about creating the life that you want with a different framework that could be fun and easy and like magic. Thank you.